Hello friends, welcome back to my show. This is the second part of Anatomy of a Toolkit, and it takes us from theory to practice. After watching this video, you will have the competence of recognizing a toolkit job. As usual, first a disclaimer and then a claimer. Stop the video, read, or else just continue and trust me. Let us recall what we learnt in part 1 of the Anatomy of a Toolkit. We saw there are 7 essential ingredients to recognize. There has to be novelty. The proposition must be unprovable. It must be intuitive. In other words, people should not require special coaching, tutoring, or education to recognize the danger. It must be ubiquitous, all around us, universal. And there must be someone else to blame. We must be out of that picture. It should require no personal sacrifice on the part of the people you are doing the toolkit job. And most importantly, you must stand on a high moral ground. So we saw 2 examples in the previous video as toolkit jobs. In this video, I shall be giving you an exercise to find if you can recognize a toolkit. You must remember one thing, that to recognize a toolkit job, you must understand that events may either be the same or they may be similar. But the ground rules still remain the same. Surely you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a worldwide current event which is still evolving. Let us now analyze the present situation and see if the 7 essential ingredients of the toolkit are present in the present situation. Here are those ingredients. Let's take the first one. Novelty. Indeed, it is a novel virus. Now, who cares or who doesn't care whether viruses evolve every season? But then the novelty remains a novelty. Is it intuitive? You don't need to be a genius or a rocket scientist or a microbiologist to be scared of getting killed by a virus. Is it ubiquitous? Of course. It is sweeping the whole planet. It's a pandemic. Is it unprovable? You have been fed the data day in and day out that even asymptomatic people can test positive and they can transmit. Is it involuntary? That means you have somebody to blame. It's not you who are to blame. Of course, it's a engineered product from a laboratory, or it's a leak from a Wuhan lab or from animals. So it fits beautifully into this particular ingredient definition. As far as you and me are concerned, we have to do nothing. There's no personal sacrifice involved. Just wait for the vaccine. Your role is simply passive. You play the game according to the tune that is being played. And participating in this whole media circus gives you a very high moral ground. You are out to save the world. And this applies to every player in this whole game, whether you're a mute witness or you are one of those who are going to profit from vaccine making, or you're in government or in governance where you can exercise total and absolute control over the citizens. In order to know whether this is actually a toolkit job, we'll have to know where the truth lies. Let's check each one of these 7 points individually. As far as novelty goes, we must understand that it's just another variant or a mutant of just another influenza-like virus. That's what coronaviruses are all about. As far as being a deadly killer is concerned, the infective fatality rate, the IFR, is just a little below 0.25%. And if you take the fatality rate, infective fatality rate for those who are below age 70, that is even less than 0.05%. As far as being a pandemic, we have been able to identify people with the same virus, but the presentation of the case is completely different. even in the same region, there are people who come with a wide variety of symptoms. When it comes to unprovability, it has been recognized that the RT-PCR tool is actually not a diagnostic tool. It's only a detection tool. When we talk about asymptomatic persons testing positive, please watch my video which explains specificity and sensitivity of any diagnostic test. And then you'll realize how many false positives are actually there. People who have been declared as sick and actually aren't. As far as the vaccine is concerned, we need to first understand what are the objectives set by the developers. Because after all, you'll only get that which you are trying to find. For that, you'll have to watch another video which I have made. And finally, masks. Is there any evidence that they are actually effective? Once again, you will find another video on my channel if you wish to explore this topic in greater depth and greater detail. Then you'll understand what the numbers actually mean. I'm not one of those who is calling the current situation with new words like a pandemic or the fact that it's a conspiracy theory. This video is all about recognizing toolkits. If you can do that, you can determine for yourselves what the situation really is. If you can do that, I have achieved the objective of my video. So dear friends, you are responsible both for your knowledge as well as your ignorance. Do not choose ignorance because ignorance leads to slavery. Knowledge leads to freedom. It will even set you free from the slavery if you are already in that state. In order to plumb the depths of this subject, please watch the other videos on my channel and they will really open your eyes. Here is a sample. Waiting for the miracle is about what the objectives were that were set by the vaccine developers. Very important to know that. Was it to prevent people from getting very sick and dying, or to prevent infection and interrupt the disease transmission? You might find the views quite contrary to your beliefs. Get out of the beliefs and get knowledge instead. The second video is about unintended consequences of vaccination, and this is a case study of India. There is no better evidence than history. What were the unintended consequences of the polio eradication program in India? And you'll discover that sometimes the cure is just as bad, if not worse, than the disease. The next video that I'll recommend is give the dog a bad name and then hang him. This is at the core of a toolkit job. What is the evidence that we have on masking, lockdowns, and transmission of infection? You can find all that in just 17 minutes. This video, disease mongering, has had tremendous number of views among the educated classes. Disease mongering is convincing healthy people that they are sick. And it's not only drug companies who are to blame. We must remember that. So friends, let us admit, all of us love horror. Watch this video if you want to step out of the horror reality show that is being broadcast day in and day out on your mobile and on your television set. The next video I will recommend in order to improve your grasp on this subject, learning to read numbers. And this is not just about corrective glasses. It is to comprehend the numbers that we read and hear day in and day out. Here's a common sense approach to discovering facts for yourself, enlightening yourself, attaining knowledge, and getting out of the slavery. So friends, that brings me to the end of this video. We started with a recap of the toolkit, the 7 ingredients that go into making a toolkit. Next, we saw how to recognize a toolkit job and how it is being used in the present scenario. And finally, I recommended to you some of the videos at my Wiser Owls Academy, which will enhance your knowledge. And with that knowledge, it will set you free from false beliefs. Thank you very much for your attention. And as a YouTube viewer or as a YouTube producer, friends, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel so that you can spread the light of knowledge farther and farther. With that, I bring this video to an end. Thank you very much and meet you again in the next part.